The raid is an absolute disaster. The horned boss just folded the hero like a lawn chair, and the squad is screaming to bail. But amidst the panic, one set of boots steps forward instead of back. It is Sylva, and he looks bored out of his mind. The soldiers are losing it, screaming at the random gate guard to run, but he literally says the main story hasn't even started yet. Bro knows he has plot armor. Before we get to the action, you need to know the meta. This world is based on Brave of Asterisk, a classic RPG where the hero Alan wipes the floor with demons and builds a harem. You know, standard fan service protocol. Our guy was obsessed with this game back on Earth, right up until his corporate job decided to delete him. The man literally worked himself into the lobby. Absolute tragedy. But the universe hit the respawn button. He woke up in the capital city Zalencia, breathing fresh fantasy air. But here is the kicker. He is not the hero. He is Sylva, a random gate guard. His co-worker Modi is already barking orders, treating him like a glorified errand boy. No epic quests, just endless shift changes. Most people would be salty they are not the main character. But Sylva, he is vibing. He thinks, why stress about saving the world when I can just stand here? No pressure, no drama, just a steady paycheck. He is living the dream. Sylva grabs his groceries, reminding himself that getting paid to do absolutely nothing is the peak of existence. Why bother saving the world when you can just eat fresh fruit? His peaceful morning hits a brick wall though. Right next door, a merchant is trying to finesse a customer with the oldest trick in the book. The victim is a humble girl claiming she has zero combat skills. Then total noob vibes. Sylva takes one look and his brain blue screens. It's Charles, the fan favorite character. He isn't just looking at a girl, he is staring at a walking S-tier legend. The shopkeeper is feeding her garbage about a holy sword. Sylva wants to scream scam, but he is too busy getting game ended by pure cuteness overload. He literally thanks the gods for sending him to the lobby just so he could see this waifu in 4K resolution. Before she blows her life savings, a voice cuts through the noise. Alan steps up, looking like he is about to drop a massive lawsuit. He exposes the sword as a fake instantly. Zero chill. He calls out the fraud right to the merchant's face. This is Alan, the main character. The guy players control. Seeing the protagonist in the flesh is surreal, like watching a streamer play the game 3 feet away from you. Sylva watches the chemistry and realizes the romance subplot is already buffering. Oh yeah, these two are definitely locked into the love route. Alan tries to drag Charles away to their quest before she gets distracted by another shiny object. The merchant isn't done though. He knows how to hunt whales. He targets Charles's insecurity and promises the sword will make her a hero. That lands a critical hit. The merchant pivots to Sylva, but Sylva shuts him down cold. He claims he is just a broke gate guard who is perfectly happy with trash tier gear. He walks off and tells the guy to find another sucker, but look at the hesitation in his eyes. He is playing a role, and he is crushing it. Deep down, Sylva knows the harsh truth. He isn't the hero, he is a mob. A background NPC with absolutely zero plot armor. Back in the real world, the corporate grind was basically soul-crushing. His only escape from the misery was this game. He didn't just play it, he memorized every single pixel. It was his lifeline. He is a massive Charlie simp, by the way. He knows the lore. If the hero Alan just follows the script, the good guys win and peace is restored. He is desperate to see that cinematic ending with his own eyes. But there is a glitch in the plan. This world is brutal. Demons are out here spawn camping humans daily. To survive, he has to cheat. He decides to abuse his meta knowledge and power level his stats to the absolute max before the tutorial even ends. He is going to disappear into the wilderness and grind XP for years. But he has one golden rule. Do not touch the canon. He refuses to steal the spotlight or change the story. He is just here to watch the show. Back at the base, Sylva was geeking out over obscure lore. His eyes were sparkling like an anime schoolgirl. Modi had zero clue what bro was yapping about. He pulled the emergency ripcord and suggested they just get wasted instead. That worked. Sylva instantly agreed and laughed way too hard, but Modi noticed the guy was buzzing with a weird, suspicious energy. Suddenly, the happy hour vibes got deleted. Screams erupted from the street. Modi peeked around the corner to check the commotion. It was a total disaster. A literal demon was tearing up the pavement in broad daylight. Pure menace energy. Sylva's gamer brain short-circuited. He muttered the wedge day out loud. Modi caught him slipping, but Sylva tried to play it off as nothing. Inside his head, Sylva was screaming. He knew exactly what this was. A scripted pre-event where demons unite to raid the server. Usually the hero handles this, but things were getting messy. The town guards tried to act tough. They swore to hold the line until the real hero showed up. But the demons started throwing hands. Sylva ran the numbers instantly. To him, it was a level 1 scrub. To these NPCs, a raid boss. They were about to get wiped. He hesitated. If he one-shot the monster, he would butterfly effect the entire timeline. He decided to sandbag and stall for time. But Modi didn't get the memo. He rushed in with main character syndrome and immediately got humbled. The demon slapped him with a nasty counterattack. Sylva panicked. He checked his friend for damage. Modi claimed it was just a scratch. He tried to look tough while clutching his arm. The demon tried to dip, thinking it got away with the crime. That was the last straw. Sylva forgot about the plot. He launched himself down the street in a rage. Modi just stood there, completely confused. He had never seen his drinking buddy move at max speed before. Miles away, the vibe was immaculate. Just a quiet afternoon by the lake, dipping toes in the water like the plot armor didn't exist yet. Charlie finished her little herb collection side quest and got ready to bounce. But the forest decided to get spooky. The bushes started rustling. She called out, but nobody answered. Just pure horror movie silence. Back to Sylva. He was tearing through the woods at Mach speed, regretting that he didn't send that demon to the lobby when he had the chance. Then, a glitch in the matrix. He slammed the brakes. Charlie, what is a main character doing in the middle of a random encounter zone? He ducked behind a tree, hyperventilating. His gamer brain was frying. He thought, the walkthrough said Charlie survives, but reality is looking different. Panic mode engaged. He saw the terror on her face. His internal alarm screamed. The timeline was breaking. The beast launched itself out of the shadows. A nightmare with teeth, aiming to game-end her right there. Charlie screamed as the game over screen closed in. Sylva snapped. He drew his steel and roared a possessive warning. Nobody touches his favorite character. He unleashed the Zalencia style, the spinning top. He turned into a human blender and shredded the monster into confetti. Absolute deletion. He sheathed his blade with a satisfying click. The monster was now just background decoration. He looked back. She was safe. That smile was worth all the cardio. Adrenaline crash. Sylva went from hero to worrywart instantly, frantically checking her for scratches. She tried to ask who he was, and this idiot choked. He panicked and told her his job title instead of his name. Smooth. Charlie wasn't having it. She demanded the name, not the resume. She leaned in, eyes pleading. She needed to know who just carried her through that boss fight. He finally spat it out. Sylva. She repeated it with a smile that could power a city. The script was officially broken, and he didn't care one bit. Back at the fortress, the grind never stops. Sylva confirms the link with Charlie, then hits the eject button. He pivots on his heel, using his shift as a desperate excuse to ghost the girl. He is thinking, if I walk away fast enough, maybe she won't ask how I one-shot that beast. Inside, he is spiraling. He knows deleting that demon in public might have just wrecked the plot continuity. He is sweating bullets, thinking, did I just break the game balance? But before he can overthink the meta implications, a voice snaps him back to reality. The guard drops a bomb on him. The captain of the elite Holy Guard demands his presence immediately. Sylva freezes. The color drains from his face as he realizes this is way above his pay grade. He thinks, well, it was a nice run while it lasted. His buddy clamps a hand onto his shoulder, grinning like a maniac. He assumes Sylva is about to get sent to the lobby and offers to handle the funeral arrangements. You gotta love the optimism. He laughs it off, but the threat is real. The captain has zero chill. Sylva better pray he escapes with just a lecture instead of a permanent game over screen. Sylva stands before the massive Elite Holy Knights HQ. It looks like the final dungeon. He feels like a kid visiting the principal's office. The guards wave him through, but he is sweating bullets. He climbs the stairs and prays to every RNG god. Please, do not let me run into that high-maintenance woman. Inside the VIP office, the captain tries to look professional. She spots something outside the window. Before she can process it, smash! Two winged mascots body slam through the glass like tiny cannonballs. She is not even mad. She is absolutely delighted by the property damage. Sylva opens the heavy oak door and freezes. Standing there is Captain Elda, Snow White. Silver hair, ocean eyes, and armor that is struggling to contain the plot. Sylva recognizes her immediately. She is a top-tier romance option from the game. She radiates absolute main character energy. He tries to play it cool. He asks if she needs something. She immediately hits him with the pouty face and calls him thick-headed. The audacity. Then the vibe shifts. She brings up the demon attack from the other day. Specifically, the fact that the monster was shredded by a spinning top technique. That is a high-level skill tree exclusive to the hero and the captain. She was out of town, so that leaves a blank space. She leans over the desk and invades his personal bubble. She knows he did it. She demands he quit wasting his talent and join the knighthood immediately. Sylva's internal monologue is screaming. If he confesses, his peaceful NPC life is over. He tries to gaslight her. He suggests the hero did it. Elda shuts that down instantly. She taps the desk. The hero has to file paperwork for every deletion. This one was off the books. She corners him with a smile and tells him to surrender. He panics and shouts, "Absolutely not!" She is genuinely shocked he refused. He doubles down and demands proof. So she switches tactics to bribery, money, benefits, dental. But there is a catch. He would have to babysit the hero on missions. That is a hard pass. He tells her he is allergic to main characters and tries to leave. She sighs and looks defeated for about 1 second. Then that predator smile comes out. If he will not join willingly, she is going to get creative. She decides right then and there that she does not care about ethics anymore. Sylva realizes too late that he is in danger. The captain went straight for the jugular, slamming a signed admission letter onto the desk with a grin that promised pain. Sylva's soul left the chat. He screamed that he never signed that ticket to the lobby, accusing her of straight-up forgery. She finally cracked, admitting she was just trolling him. She tossed the fake aside and handed him the real mission brief. She wasn't looking for a recruit anymore, she needed a cleaner. She slapped down a dossier, demanding a massive favor instead. The target was Bragio Birdley. He was trying to join the order, and she needed him stopped before he even got through the door. The Birdley name carried weight, but the captain wasn't impressed by his pedigree or his family's fame. She dropped the professional act, calling the guy a certified scumbag with zero hesitation. But thanks to noble privilege, she couldn't fail him without the higher-ups breathing down her neck. That is where Sylva came in. She laid out the hit. Sylva had to enter the mock battles and absolutely wreck Bragio in front of everyone. Sylva realized he was basically being hired as a professional hater, used to bypass the red tape. He agreed, but he had one non-negotiable term. If he crushed this guy, the recruitment harassment had to end. She flashed a smile that was way too confident, knowing she had just won the game. Deal accepted. He rolls up to the castle gates, and you can practically hear him sighing. He is already dreading the grind before it even starts. The target is just some random NPC, but of course, he has major connections. One slip up, and Sylva accidentally deletes the entire original storyline. He needs intel on a mystery character, but the strategy hangs on one golden rule. Avoid the main cast at all costs to keep the plot intact. Naturally, the universe decides to tap him on the shoulder right now. It is Charles. Sylva tosses a casual wave, and the guy recoils like he just saw a ghost. Absolute comedy. Sylva just swore to avoid the plot, then immediately initiated a cutscene. Charles tries to warn him off, but Sylva hits him with that reassuring anime smile. Charles cuts the small talk. He wants to know why Sylva ghosted him after the rescue. Sylva drops a tactical apology. He bows with enough force to generate a sound effect. Charles nods, disarmed. But then, he flips the script. He realizes he never told Sylva his name. Sylva stammers out a lie about a guest list. Inside his head, he is sweating bullets. Charles waves it off. He demands Sylva drop the formal soldier act. Sylva pouts. He tries to maintain professional distance, but eventually sighs and agrees to be friends. Charles is not finished though. He insists on joining Sylva's grind to repay the life debt. Sylva tries to calculate the risk, but the gamer instinct wins. You never say no to your favorite character. He grins and invites the boy to tag along for the next quest. They touch down in the capital's red light district, the Birdley family's turf. These so-called nobles bought their status with dirty money from shady dealings and selling people like inventory. Sylva and Charles try to keep a low profile, but the locals are already eyeing them like fresh meat walking into a grinder. They navigate the maze looking for their target until Sylva stops dead in front of a very suggestive neon heart. Charles sees the logo and his brain completely short-circuits. He thinks she is inviting him inside for some culture, and the poor guy starts screaming in panic. But Sylva just laughs in his face. She was only trolling him. Crisis averted, so they get back to the mission. The target is Bragio, a trust fund baby who spends his daddy's money drowning in booze. But it is too early for the clubs, so the streets are a ghost town. Suddenly, Charles's stomach roars like a lion. Absolute cringe. Starving in front of your crush is a rookie mistake. Sylva shows mercy and calls a timeout. She catches a whiff of something delicious and points the way. Investigation paused. It is grub time. You would expect a noble lady to nibble on a salad, but this girl unhinges her jaw like a snake on a cheat day. Sylva watches the carnage, stunned that high society has such a savage taste for grease. But reality hits hard. Charles realizes his tiny avatar mouth cannot handle the girth, and his gloom meter spikes to 20%. Sylva tries to be supportive, but let's be real, it is a massive hitbox issue. Time for a tactical pivot. He performs emergency surgery on the lunch, ditching the meat to focus exclusively on the bun. It is pure copium, but he convinces himself the bread is the real prize. Sylva watches this carb-loading strategy and absolutely loses her mind. The cuteness overload hits critical mass, and she is ready to ascend to the afterlife right there in the cafeteria. Simp levels are off the charts. Dinner ends and Sylva decides to main character the situation. He claims the red light district is way too high level for a group raid and tries to solo queue the mission. He thinks he can tank the aggro alone, but honestly, he is just feeding. Before he can even finish his sentence, the door gets absolutely folded, just kicked off its hinges like it owes someone money. Bragio Birdley struts in with his goon squad, radiating pure nepotism baby energy. The whole restaurant freezes. You can hear the whispers about his rap sheet. Assault, harassment, total menace behavior. He demands the VIP section. The staff hits him with the "We are full" debuff. Bragio does not handle rejection well. He explodes and screams the classic line, "Do you know who my father is?" He starts terrorizing the minimum wage workers. Charles and Sylva watch from the back and confirm the intel. This guy is not just a target, he is 100% trash. Bragio bullies a waiter into the floor tiles and calls the entire establishment garbage. He spins around to rage quit the lobby. On his way out, his scumbag radar pings. He locks onto the lovely lady in the corner. He marches over, invades the personal space, and drops a name that makes zero sense.